Time to talk Fender and lawsuits.
Yeah.
And weird behind the scenes business stuff that's happening in Europe.
Nope.
So if you're in America, it doesn't really affect you, but maybe it will one day. Who knows?
Could trickle over the pond.
I doubt it. But
Probably won't.
because we protect the Americans. Yeah. No. Anyway, so thanks for tuning in. Click like, subscribe.
Hit the bell.
It goes ding. Fender is now being sued by a consumer advocacy group in the European UK world, for a 2020 lawsuit that really sort of affects the map.
Okay.
It's like so there is no map in.
There are no borders. Countries have ceased to exist. No, not that map. What you're saying, yeah.
And what map is, I wanted to actually, it means minimum advertised pricing. Yes. So the way it works in the whole retail world is like, guitar companies will sell, like the shops, the guitar for X price. You have to sell it and advertise it for X plus what, they give you a price that you have to advertise. Right. You can sell it for more, you can sell it for less a little bit, but you cannot advertise it for less.
Right.
Then you're not really supposed to advertise it for more. You can in some of the contracts, but I think it's sort of, I don't like that. I think.
Why?
Well, people do just because I've seen a lot with like products like when the Silver Sky came out from shops.
Yep.
But when it's like really hot like Nebula or Lunar Ice, like hey, this guitar is going to be. It's normally like $3,000. It's now going to be $5,400.
Well, it used to be that was normal. You'd see the MSRP. Right, and then they'd have like this, they'd call it the street price or the sale. It was always on sale, but it really wasn't. That was always the map.
It was established,
and you would feel like, oh, I'm getting a deal, but you weren't.
We still have some sort of old timers that would come as like, well, I want to do like half of MSRP plus 10, like they're trying to work out. There is no more MSRP. That doesn't exist anymore.
And they're confusing the price of things now with that old school thing. But I mean, that's why now you look on the internet and I don't care if you look at Sweetwater, you look at Musician's Friend, you look at indie shops like CME or Casino Guitars, it's the same.
It's the same.
So
that's the basic definition of map. So in the UK, European theaters, there is no map. And so their idea, and I've talked to a bunch of friends over in England and over in Europe just to sort of get their ideas on it, and shops over there, because I find it fascinating.
It is fascinating.
And there's differing opinions. Like I have my own, which we'll get into. But I've heard well, this is, the reason is like we were trying to get on higher priced items such as these, like when you're spending $500 on a luxury item and more, we want the consumer to get the lowest possible price, and I appreciate that.
Sure,
that's a good concept. Now let's dig into like this sort of seedy underbelly of how not having map would be destructive for an entire industry in the U.S. I think in certain respects, just the way our big box network works.
Yeah. So
map sort of sets like a minimum advertised pricing, and if let's say Fender had to remove that from here, Fender's still going to sell a lot of guitars. That's just what they do. But it would just sort of, the big boxes, GCs, SWs, SA, all the big ones. I like to do acronyms. It was fun. It was fun to do that.
Oh yeah.
That way we avoid lawsuits and cease and desist letters. I'm just inferring. I don't know. I could be talking about gubernatorial collective.
Yes.
It's a group of governors. Anyway, no, but they could slash prices for a short time and then raise them back up, and just to put all these sort of indies out.
Because they can afford that.
They can take the loss. Well, they can't now because they've been hemorrhaging money for years, but they used to be able to afford that.
And I mean, I that literally is the business plan of some of the big box stores, right? You come into a market, you slash prices, you give amazing deals, even if you can't advertise below the map. And then as the indies go out of business, as all the mom and pop things go out of business, then you put things back.
But they're given things called map holidays too, that might be exclusive to a certain dealer.
Right.
But the dealer that sells that in the map holidays, like, well, you can you're still buying product from us, manufacturer at X. You can sell it at this reduced price to destroy your competition if you want to, because you buy more guitars than this place. It's not a very nice practice. It happens behind. Blockbuster did the same thing.
Well, I mean, you think about, even places like Walmart, right, will have things that you come in that you buy to get you in the store that they're losing money on maybe. But they know that when you're in Walmart, you're going to see all these other 15 things that you want or you need, and you buy that stuff too.
That's consumer acquisition.
Well, some of the big box stores, like they can take a loss on strings. We can't really take a loss on strings because we're just
poor and we're
us.
stupid.
That's right.
No, but it's just that's why I look at MAP as a. I know it's weird. It's like I don't like rules. I hate them, but because it's not, the margins in the guitar business are not high. They're pretty low compared to most all other retail aspects.
It's not like clothing or jewelry
or consumer electronics.
Right.
It's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, cars have a similar cars have a low margin.
Right.
They make up on their financing and on their service is where they really get you, and they want to get you signed in that service package where they see in the financing. They want to have that. Financing through guitars is not the same. It's usually an external third party is making the money there.
Yeah.
Because they're working rates out with the resellers, which are guitar stores. So it's tricky.
I mean, to me though, it's not even like, I mean, you tell me, I could be wrong. I don't even see MAP as like making a rule. It's almost like it evened the playing field to me in a lot of ways. I mean, because there was a while there where you, especially in small stores, you'd see people on their phone looking for, trying out a thing and then looking for a cheaper price, on Musician's Friend or whatever, right? And that's sort of, it's just not there anymore. It's not that way. People still come in and they have that thought process. And they're like, well, and I know they're going to look it up, and I'm like, hey, it's the same.
We encourage people to. Like,
absolutely.
It's and it's kind of neat to be able to do that as an indie shop. Like, it's the same as GC is like MF.
Yeah, it's the same. That's right.
See how long I can do that. I'm going to talk about it.
MF, SA.
No, but and I know guys at like these major retailers that like when they were in the higher management, like they would go in and like their job was to sort of put out the indies, and they would be given bonuses back in the sort of older days.
It's pretty wild.
Depending on the standpoint, yes, from which you can eliminate it. Some of the other, and I will mention this is a positive thing that what Sweetwater did when they were expanding and like exploding. He went around and hired, Chuck did, all the other guys in local music shops, like brought them in. Even the guys that own the shops, like he would buy the shops out or something. He wasn't trying to destroy them. He was trying to like actually create a musical selling machine that was good.
It seems like, not to be on, fanboy moment, but it just seems like they did it really the right way, the best possible way for building a huge
empire. Like one of the biggest, individual still owned like resellers with one location.
Right.
It's pretty amazing that they did that.
Well, now they have all the cool things. Like they just had the Gear Fest.
Well, I hope it stays the same. Now private equity is involved.
Right.
I get a little nervous, but
right, agreed.
Maybe they'll be okay. So I mean that's sort of like and again like I understand the idea of like why you don't want it in some ways too, because you want to be able to try to. Well, I don't know. I say that, but at the end of the day, it's hard. It's hard to understand it thoroughly and from the business side, because then it feeds to where like it creates a monopoly, in my opinion.
Well, you said something. You said something earlier. I don't know if you've said it since we've been on video, that it's a race to the bottom. Yeah. I think that's a really good way to visualize that. Why maybe it's not a great idea.
Well, the race to the bottom only wins the people with the deepest pockets at the end of the day.
Right.
It can behoove you in the beginning, but then don't get me wrong, like good old capitalism will rear its ugly head again, and that those prices will rise, and then you will have less opportunities of what you can buy and where you can buy it before you know it.
And it's not like it's you cannot. I mean, you can sell it for whatever you want. You just can't advertise. That's what you have to remember.
That is the biggest key.
It is only
advertised pricing.
Right. You got to remember that. It's not like this weird moratorium on giving a sale or giving points off. It's literally what you can advertise online.
Yeah, man. Like if you are John Smith and you own a guitar store in the Bumblebees. Well, that's the name of the store, Guitar Store Bumblebees. I think it'd be a great name for a shop. You can have it. I'm giving it up to the universe.
There you go.
And like somebody calls like, hey, this guitar's $1,000. How much? You're like, I'll sell it to you for $1. You can do that.
Do you have a number for this place? I'd like to call John Smith.
You can totally do it. I mean, like that's something neat. Then you can use the rest as a business, or you can use the rest as a write-off for charity if you need to, or write-off for your taxes if you've had like a gangbusters year and you need some write-offs and some deferments.
Solid business model.
There you go. There. You'll be out of business in no time. No, but it's
you don't have to worry about it.
But if you're starting to blow through and do some charity work or something, just do it. It's like it doesn't prevent that.
Right.
It's the advertisement of it.
Yes.
It's So I don't know. I guess God, I'm on the side of a corporation.
Oh. But as corporations go, one of our favorites.
I know, like they are fun to work with. Like I look forward to my little conversations with Ed every once in a while. He's not really a corporate guy. He's just a dude that helps make guitars.
We've talked about this before as like big as Fender is, in some ways, they're the least corporate.
Isn't that funny?
I mean,
it is really weird because like
like the mindset.
Some of the other companies we work with are not nearly that scope, and like they're
calm down.
No, man, like they're like really like stuffy sometimes. Like
Stuffy.
Like they're watching. Like if you say anything bad about this guitar, we're gonna have to have a conversation. I'm like, why? Why? It's like not every guitar Fender makes is great. You know, they make some dingers.
Yeah.
Some stuff. I'm like, woo, PU. You know, every manufacturer has a bunch of zingers that are just like, ah, whoopsie, who did that? How'd that one get through design?
Can't bat 1,000 all the time.
You know, the one that got through design that it was actually a bang out that was kind of like questionable at first was the Meteora. That was, because I remember like when they first announced that, and I was like, what the hell is that?
You're going to be like the Jazz Master.
No, but it's not. It's there, but it's this weirder, like, it's cool though. I mean, like when I saw the band Weymouth, that's a local band playing, and they had like matching Meteoras.
Yeah.
Like the original USA built one, and then like the
bass
the Player
smashed,
Plus
right?
that one. It was awesome looking on stage.
I mean, that does look amazing, right?
It was like future Fender in the real time. Because
right now, the future is now.
Yeah. We live in 1954. That's our thoughts. That's what's happening right now. They're being sued for, it was like a 4.5 million pound or euro, whatever, fine originally.
Right.
It's a big thing, and it's not, that's not big to Fender, I guess. That wouldn't really affect your bank account either.
No. I just, like,
there
you go.
I guess we're not going to Cabo this spring.
Yeah.
Cabo's in Mexico, right?
I think so.
I don't know. I was like, that was the first fancy place that came to my head.
There you go.
St. Lucia. That's another place. I don't know where that is. Seems fancy.
It seems fancy. I don't think they,
Caribbean, right?
Places like that. We're not allowed.
Barbados. Is that fancy?
Just go to Myrtle Beach.
Good
old Myrtle Beach.
Fancy. If you haven't been in Haddon White, the dealership down Subaru GM, it's the place to get your car.
Great place.
It is. And like, we take our Subaru to get service there. Isn't that crazy? We go to Myrtle Beach because it's fun.
It is fun.
Get to go to Crocodile Rocks and get your car serviced.
I mean, yeah.
And helicopter rides right around the corner if you want them. It's like death, 50% guaranteed, but it's still,
Eat at medieval times. Whatever you want to do.
I'm more of like the Pirate's Voyage is my jam right now. Medieval times food was really good. The food's good at those places. Surprisingly good.
Yeah.
Giant drumstick. She's like, man, I was there with my kids watching like a horses run in circles for like hours.
And you're like, how does the dust not get in your food?
I don't know. It's got to be a weird like
they figure it
packing
out.
material.
Somehow they figure it out. I don't know.
Yes, I guess that's it. We're off topic now. I apologize. God, should we go home now?
I guess.
I don't know. You gotta watch the kids this week, son.
I do. My wife's leaving me. The kids think they're gonna starve. I'm a little upset that they believe that they can't survive with me.
When mom leaves, because like they know it's just gonna be tons of fun. Like we're watching Jackass. If you haven't seen Jackass Forever, the latest one, I had to stop watching with my kids because they do a lot of way too much cuss words than normal, too many. But the introduction, have you seen it yet?
No,
the introduction, I'll talk about it. It's unreal. I watched it with my wife the other day with the kids again, just the intro. I mean, unreal. It's some of the best pieces of cinematic filmmaking in history.
I did introduce my children to Mr. Bean this weekend.
Did they love him?
Well, there's a new Netflix thing. It's like Man vs. Bee.
Is it good?
I mean, it's just what you expect.
Okay.
You know, he destroys things and it's like, you're like, oh God. But
it
stressed Abby out. Abby was just like, because so many things just keep going wrong. She couldn't handle it.
Just if you don't know, I don't know if I've shared that, but Mr. Bean, like Rowan Atkinson, is my spiritual like acting hero.
His guru.
Like I do, I know I did. Like in all seriousness, I love Rowan Atkinson. I love Mr. Rogers. Like those two are just on par with, I don't know, like they're like Mozart. As far as
just like
on screen, to me, like I think what Mr. Rogers did was he revolutionized children's television. I think Mr. Bean, like he took like British slapstick comedy to another level.
It's true.
And translated it for decades. And his daughter's on TikTok and she slays on it. And she's amazingly gorgeous and looks like Mr. Bean. How does that work? Check it out. Trust me. I'm going home now.
There you go.
We'll see you next time. Fender got sued.
There's the Brits.
Bye.